Hello, trail travelers. It is Carrie, and we need to do some work here. We've had this fiery red winch on here for about a year and a half, and it has performed great. However, the winch line is getting a bit frayed, and on our last recovery, it was looking like it was time to replace it. So it's not that big of a job. We got to unspool it, spool the new one on, but let's take a quick look at what we're going to be using next. So this is the Freedom Line 3.0 from Bleepin Jeep. It's a 3/8 inch diameter, 90 feet long. The minimum MTS on here is 15,000 pounds, so that should work pretty darn well. And this is the end of it. Instead of having a big hunk of metal here, it's essentially a soft shackle on the end. So this is going to do a few things for us. It's going to make things a bit safer. It's going to make things a bit lighter. It's going to make things easier to hook up, easier to manage. So essentially, here's a soft shackle on the end. That can go right on the end. And we can come back on here a few feet. Like here's the first one, and there's an opening right here. So we can, boom, we're connected to something. So it's very easy to use, very quick to set up on a recovery. And in an emergency, seconds are everything. So having to pull out a big heavy thing, especially if you need to try and throw it to somebody, this is just not a great solution. It's strong, it's not going to break. There's a lot of advantages to the big flat link E that we've had on here from day one, but I wanted to go more safe. I wanted something that was going to be safer to use and easier to use. And I think the Freedom Winch Line is going to be it. So I believe there's 3 different spots on the rope at like 3 feet, 6 feet, and 8 feet where you can pull it in. So in an emergency, you could just wrap this around a tree with the line on here. It's going to do minimal to no damage to a tree versus having to take the time to pull out a tree saver. It has some red shroud on the end of it, so you know when you're getting to the end of the winch line, so you don't let it all go out. Now this is going to be pretty easy. Pull this one off, put the new one on, spool it back up, and we're going to be ready to go. So let's get things going and get the Freedom Line installed. Okay, we've got the Freedom Winch Line buttoned up here. Pretty easy. There was just an Allen wrench on a kind of a spool thing. Take that off, put the new rope on, spool it back up, and we're ready to go. Well, I mean, technically we're not ready to go. I only put this on by hand. We need to get out in the field somewhere where we can put this under load and reel it back in. But for now, we're all set. It's time to go hit a trail. Well, there's the Jeep down there at the bottom of the hill. We're up here at the top, huffing and puffing. It's warm today, and you know, we're at a decent altitude. But let me show you the winch line and how this thing works and why this is so cool. This is the end of the winch line right here, and it's essentially a soft shackle. So I can take one end off. I got the tree saver around the tree, put it through the tree saver, back through the knot, trying to do this with one hand, and boom, we are set to winch. That is really all there is to it. So when it comes to speed and safety, this just absolutely rocks. Now, if we needed something bigger, we still have 3 other holes in the line where we could attach the knot through. But for our purposes, this is going to do just fine. Now, let's try and get back to the Jeep without falling on our butts going down this hill. Let's get winched up. Okay, we've got the Jeep in neutral, and we're going to start winching. Up we go. So, you know, we're running about 6,000 pounds on the Jeep, going uphill. We got our tires aired down to about 13 PSI. So this is putting a nice good load on everything, but it's pulling us right up the hill. May not be quick, but we're gonna get through it. Now keep in mind, for every layer of rope on the drum, you lose about 10% of your pulling strength. So at this point, with it almost done, you know, we don't have, you know, maybe 50% of our rated capacity of 12,000 pounds. And it's still pulling us up. It's doing the job. We could have done a double pull at this point to maximize it, get more line out, and use a pulley system to get mechanical advantage, but we don't really need to. We're making it up this hill, not a problem. And now that we're done with the pull, very quickly, boom, we're disconnected. We've got our tree saver back, and we're ready to put everything away. It just doesn't get any faster than that. So that's the Freedom Winch Line 3.0, available over at Bleepin Jeep. You know, it's not cheap, but really it's cheaper than some of the name brand winch lines that are out there, with more functionality and better safety. And really, when you're out on the trail with people, safety is absolutely paramount. So from Katarina and myself, stay safe out there. We'll see you on the trails.